Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Aaron. This is 3D Studio Max 2016. On today's episode, I'm going to share with you how to take a 2D item or object and make it into 3D using splines and points, and that's pretty much what it's going to be about. And I'm going to show you some reasons of what might be happening when you create a spline polygon and move it around, and why some things are breaking. And I'll show you the examples. Here we go. This is most common. First thing I'm going to show you is a chess piece. This is pretty much done out there. You can go to Google or Internet Explorer or whatever you're using nowadays, Edge, whatever it might be, a browser, and look for a chess piece. You're looking for an image that is a relatively side shot of an image. In this case, we have here a chess piece set that I'm going to grab and from the internet, and you want a large image in size. So I'm going to grab this picture, just drag it to my desktop right here, and as you can see, I'm going to copy and replace that. That's fine. So on your desktop, what you're going to do here is if I move my mouse over that item, you can see the size of it. It says dimensions is 1200 by 444. Okay, so that's the size of this picture right here. So if I right click on this and go to preview, again, it's going to share with you some images about the properties of this image, and it will say right here its dimensions is 1200 by 444. Okay, so width and height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into 3D Studio Max over here. Within 3D Studio Max, I'm going to create a plane. I'm going to go to my front view and I'm going to make a plane that has over here 0 segments. I don't need any segments because I'm not making anything fancy here. And I want to change this to 1200 by 444. Now, if done correctly, that is not done correctly. We got to do the opposite. So 444, 1200. So it should resemble the image that you're going to use. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to apply the texture image to that. So I'm going to mirror, go to my M for modify, and once you have your materials editor open, I'm going to go to Arc and Design. If you do not see Arc and Design, you're going to go to Rendering, Render Setup, and make sure that you have Mental Ray turned on, so that way it will mimic the Mental Ray items that are listed here. Alright, so once you have that, you're going to go to Arc and Design, drop it in there, and as you can see, this is in my Slate Editor material editor. You can change the modes from compact over here to Slate Editor. I prefer the Slate Editor because there's a lot more functions and features that are a lot more convenient for me. The next thing you're going to do is go down a little bit and you can see standard bitmap. You drag a standard bitmap in here. We're going to go down to our desktop and we're going to scroll down until you see where's the chess pieces. And this is what the chess pieces look like. I'm going to grab this and go to my diffuse, and diffuse is going to be here. Making sure that this is double selected with the marching ants around it, I can either drag this to there like that, or I can go to apply to, make sure it's selected, where is it? Apply, assign selection material to that thing. In this case, I'm just going to drag and drop it. It turns gray, and you'll notice it's turned gray over here. And in order to make it not gray, you have to turn the light bulb on, show shaded material, and viewport. Okay, now that my material is shown in my viewport, what I'm going to do is go from wireframe over here to realistic, and I'm going to bring this in here and take my grid off, G for grid. And I'm going to enlarge this. So what will happen here, what we're going to do right now, is basically take this shape and we're going to trace it out. So I'm going to show you before we trace it. I'm going to move this to the side using my middle mouse button, making sure I'm always in front view. You want to make sure you're front view. A lot of characters in today's society, when we do characters, when we model them, you want to make sure you're top, front, and side views. An example is the character profile. Okay, if I type in character profiles, you'll see here, oh boy, of course it doesn't want to show up right now. Character T-poses. Oh my gosh, this doesn't... Let's see if this shows up. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised these aren't showing up here. Character T-pose. There we go. Okay, so typically speaking, when you do this, I don't know why this didn't show up when I Google it the first time, but you're going to see here a character T-pose. You want a front view of your character, just like this, and then a side view of your character. Typically what happens is your character will mimic one side or the other, and you want to design your character on a half viewport right here. So from one side here to the other is going to be halfway through your character view. So that way it saves speed and it saves render times when doing so. Alright, so let's get back to the matter at hand. And what I'm going to share with you guys here, in the Shapes tool, you're going to go to Line. Okay, again, in the Shapes tool, you're going to go to Line. And if I just click here once, twice, 3, 4, 5, and then go here and click it, it's going to say Close Spline. So I'm going to say yes. This here, what I'm going to do is show you an example of what typically happens when people are doing some things with making polygons and why they're not working correctly and not showing up. So I'm going to go to my Modify tab, and just so you can see this, I'm going to surface this polygon. Now if I go down here to see surface, where is it? Surface, right? Surface that polygon, nothing shows up, right? The reason it disappears is because a polygon is mainly made of 4 sides. So it needs to have 4 sides. So this is one let's segment, if you will. See, these are the segments. If I open this up here, segment has to have 4 segments. 1, 2, 3, and then there should be a 4th one here, but in this case it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments. And in order to do this, what we can do is go down in your vertices. Okay, these are the vertices that are showing up. If you scroll down here and you go to connect and refine, what you're going to do is connect this part, and it's going to say, do you want to connect this? And I'm going to say yes, and don't, hit connect only. So you're going to connect that one, and then you're going to left click and then right click. As soon as I right click this and I go back to surface, you'll see the surface now shows up. Why is that? So let me go back to line, and if you turn line on, and you see right here it says show end result on or off, you can turn that on, and it'll show you. Now we have a segment where it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, which make a polygon, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides as well. Now if I add an extra polygon in there, or an extra point, let's just see here, I'll refine, and here, and I'm going to click a point right there. Right there. Okay? Notice what happens. It breaks. It's broken because now it has more than 4 sides or surfaces here, more segments, and it cannot make the polygon. So in order to do that, I have to either make it a 4-sided and connect it. So I'm going to go to, where is it? Connect, refine, this point to a new point right here, and then right click. It'll show up now. Or what I could have did, if I undo that, I could have gone to refine, and I can do this point right here to this point and then right click. But notice 3 sides make a polygon right here, but again this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to either delete this point by just clicking the vertices and highlighting it, and you can delete it, and as soon as you delete it, it will show up again. So this is one of the big things that a lot of students run into as far as why their polygons or why their shapes of their creatures have holes in them or splices or things that are not working. Again, I can go sideways here, click here, click here, click here, and click here, and then right click, and then that will, you'll see how you're starting to build skins and modifies this. If I rotate around this using the Alt key on my keyboard, you can move these points and create, deformations in the spline shape itself to give it some different textures and things like that. Reminder, this is only one-sided. This shape over here is one-sided versus the other side. When you render this out, it will not show. So it's only one-sided unless you tell it to be double-sided. Alright, so that's one thing I wanted you guys to know about why sometimes things are not working correctly. Another thing that happens with students doing this is if you go to connect and hit refine and they happen to click this one but they forget this one and they go to here and then they right click, now you have a case where you have 4 sides, but it's transparent. It's this one. This is connected. It's behind here. There's no connection here. That's why this is breaking its connection. So you need to manually make one. The way you do that is to go to connect, refine, and make a dot here and make a dot here. Okay, and then you can shut that off or hit escape. And what will happen is you'll make a line there, right? So you can select this and you can delete that segment, and you'll have these 2 points. When you have these 2 points on these 2 different lines here, you need to weld them together, or fuse them I should say. So how do we do that? We go to vertices, we select those 2 points, and we go down in their list here, and see where it says fuse? Fuse the points together, and as soon as you fuse the points together, now this becomes one solid polygon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. When they're not fused, they're separate. See, I can still move them, and I can move them separately, and I'll just show you an example here. If I rotate around, you see how they're not connected in this point here. These points are free to move wherever they want. It's only the point on the line, right, which causes it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. if you were to look at this in this perspective, right? Okay, you guys see that? So you want to make sure that those points are together as one by using the fuse tool to fuse them together, which will make your surface all as one. So I hope that helped you out with creating that explanation of how this is the biggest problem when people start off making spline models and connecting things and putting things together. So the process begins. You got to go and make sure you guys are in front view right here. Go to your character or whatever you want to do. This is a 2D character here, and you're going to trace them out. You're going to go down. You're going to go to line tool, and you just start tracing your character out. Click once, click and drag a little bit. Click once and drag a little bit. Click once and drag a little bit. Click once and drag a little bit. And I'm just going to just go quickly here just to kind of give you the snapshot of this example here, and you know, give you a snapshot of what most people are doing here. And you click this to complete the circuit. Yep. All right, so now you have that. And then what it comes down to is then go to vertices, and under connect, refine, you're going to connect these points and make a series of points. Point, point, right click. I'm going to go to refine. I'm going to go left click, right click. Again, refine. I'm going to go to this point, left click, right click. Again, refine, left click, right click. Again, refine. So let's say left click, right click. And then I'm going to go up the chain. Remember, I'm going to click on refine. I'm going to go here, click, 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 then right click. Okay, it's important that you make sure you click every single line or attach them. Click, 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 and right click. Then they start to become together. All right, so I'm just going to fine tune this one. Where is it? Right. So I'm going to go say click here, here, and here. Right click, and then I'm going to do the same thing again for the face of this. So I'm going to go click, 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 right click. Again, refine. Let's go across this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right click. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my modify tab, and I'm going to go to surface. Where's surface? Right here. See surface, and you'll see that I have some blocked out images here. Reminder: I'm going to take off realistic and go to edge faces so you can see what's happening here. I'm going to go to my line tool and also going to turn on show end result on or off. So this way I can see the end result in this. And as you can see, I have some pieces of the puzzle here that are messed up. Because remember, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slices to this. So there's a couple options I can do here. I can go across to make this 4, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go connect, refine, click this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right click, and you'll notice that now it has 4 sides and it'll connect. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides to it. So I'm going to refine that piece and then connect that one to that one and then right click it, and you'll notice it comes together. The last thing that I'm going to do to make this thing look pretty neat in a nutshell here is to make sure I'm on vertices, and I'm going to select my vertices on the inside of this force. And by holding down the control key, I can select multiple objects, multiple points here, and what I can do is just select the middle part of this, rotate around, and what you'll see is I can move these points outwards and bring them out to give it a third dimension. And this is how you start building your characters from 2D into 3D. Okay, so as you can see here, this is an example of how you can build a horse head out in rough form and refine it. Keep in mind, this is where sculpting starts to come into play, where you can start, bringing up the jawline of the horse. And the more points you add, the more detail you're going to have with your characters. And the last thing that I would do for this thing is I would basically go to the mirror tool. Where's the mirror tool? M for mirror. And I would mirror this over and make a copy of this, and then use the Z tool to make it on the same side surface of my horse. As you can see, it's right on the line there. If I don't like it, I can use the mirror and move the center and move them around, to justify that. But right now it defaults right to the same side as that. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial. This is a 1-2 here for 3D Studio Max on how to take a shape that has multiple surfaces here and 4-sided polygons and make sure that you know how to fix them.